twice, Corinth was the most important city on the Greek mainland. During the Archaic period, the 7th and 6th centuries BC, Corinth was the commercial center of Greece, a pioneer in naval warfare, and the mother city of many important colonies. Half a millennium later, after having been destroyed by the Romans and refounded by Julius Caesar, Corinth became the capital of Achaea, the Roman province that included most of Greece. It grew larger and more prosperous than Athens, and its center was rebuilt on the Roman model. The Apostle Paul lived here for 18 months and was brought before the seat of the proconsul Gallio in the Forum. Despite repeated earthquake damage, the city survived to the end of late antiquity. We'll start our tour of the ruins with the oldest and most prominent building in the city center, the Temple of Apollo. Built around the middle of the 6th century BC, its columns were cut from the local porous limestone and coated with stucco. Unusually for a Greek temple, the columns are monolithic. The surviving columns belonged to the back facade. Though only the foundation cuttings survive of the vanished part, you can see that, like many early Doric temples, the building was exceptionally long for its width. The temple survived the sack that destroyed Hellenistic Corinth and was restored by the Roman colonists. Its interior columns, removed during that renovation, can be seen elsewhere on the site. From here, we have a good view of the Forum, divided into upper and lower terraces by a row of shops. Off to our left was the Lechaion Road, which led down to one of Corinth's harbors. That road, like this Forum, dated to the Roman era. Corinth's Greek agora was elsewhere. Here, on the west side of the agora's upper terrace, a series of shops alternated with small temples in the Roman style. The back of the Forum's upper terrace was dominated by the enormous South Stoa, a late classical building repaired by the Romans. It was 2 stories tall and originally had 33 shops and restaurants opening from its ground floor. Over time, many of these spaces were converted for official use. On this end of the South Stoa were the Curia, where the city council met, and also the office of the procurator, a financial official associated with the proconsul of Achaea. Just below, on the lower terrace, was the Julian Basilica, an all-purpose public building decorated with statues of the imperial family. At the center of the row of shops that separated the upper and lower terraces of the Forum was an imposing marble rostra, 10 feet above the lower terrace. This is almost certainly the bema, or speaker's platform, on which the proconsul of Achaea sat when he judged cases. It was quite likely here that Gallio refused to try St. Paul after the elders of the local synagogue accused him of preaching doctrines contrary to Jewish law. In commemoration of the event, a Byzantine church was built over the site. This was the Lechaion Road, the Cardo Maximus, main north-south street, of the Roman city. It was named after the harbor at its terminus, a mile and a half away. The road was paved with limestone in the reign of Vespasian and remained in use through the Middle Ages. Almost all the monuments that lined it, however, date to the Roman era. The road was lined with colonnades, a feature rare in Greece. On the right side of the Lechaion Road is the famous Fountain of Perini. According to one myth, it rose up after Pegasus stamped his hoof here. Though used since the beginnings of the city, it was monumentalized under the Romans. In its current form, it dates to the 2nd century. The spring's 6 draw basins were surrounded by a 2-story marble facade, equipped with shady alcoves where people could sit and talk. The fountain remained in use well into the medieval era. Like the Temple of Apollo, the sacred spring complex is much older than the Roman Forum. The first structure around this natural seep dates to the 6th century BC. It was renovated several times and eventually adjoined by a small area used for rituals and performances. The area around it was sacred. Intriguingly, a statue base at the wall's west end reads, Lysippus made it. Lysippus was one of the most famous sculptors in classical Greece, but whatever stood in this pedestal was stolen by the Romans in the sack of 146 BC. Corinth's Odeon, used for musical and rhetorical performances, had about 3,000 seats. It was remodeled by Herodes Atticus, the awesomely wealthy 2nd century magnate known for his building projects at Athens and Olympia. After fire damaged the building in the 3rd century, it was converted into a Roman-style arena by removing the first row of seats and building a protective wall. The theater, built in the classical period and reconstructed by the Romans, once had an elaborate 3-story stage building. This is long gone, but you can still see how the theater, like the Odeon, was made into a venue for beast hunts and gladiatorial matches by cutting away the lowest seats and cutting the underlying rock into a sheer protective wall. This surface was decorated with frescoes of beast hunters, now lost. In the late 3rd century, the arena was sealed with waterproof mortar so that aquatic spectacles could be staged there. Like Corinth itself, in short, the theater's Greek origins were repeatedly overwritten to reflect the city's prominent place in a Roman world.